Holy damn. Holy damn, bro. Hey, man, we are in different markets, confirmed. This is not a... And this is a good thing, by the way. But different markets, man. These markets are something else. And the algorithms right now are speeding things up. The target that I had yesterday, which... we talked about the way the algorithm speeds things up, right? There was 3 targets. There was the 750 range and then the 1250, which we clearly hit today. And then now we're kind of consolidating a little bit, but I want to talk about the rest of the week here because things are starting to look really interesting. I mean, anything could happen here, guys. Ripple effect can take things even higher. AMC has not done this in a really, really long time, back to back. So, yeah, expect things to just get crazy from here. I mean, anything could happen at this point. We're here to track it, man. That's what we're here to do. So, fun stuff. Fun stuff. Okay. Oh, these setups, man. I do think we're gonna probably gonna break the highs today. Again, anything's on predict. Everything that's happening right now, guys, is not gonna be as predictable, I think, as we've been used to. Just because with this kind of thing, the algorithm breaks. You get squeezes, right? That's just what happens. And if this is actually the squeeze here, then the price can definitely continue to go higher. I know there's a lot of halts happening right now. That is just the way the market works. It's inevitable. I think that's why we're seeing the runs really happen here in the after-hour session and not intraday, right? After-hour session, price can go up 500% if it wants to. Look at this massive gap. That is cool. That's what we want to see. We did briefly cross. We haven't crossed $14 range yet. We got very close to it. Yeah, dude, this is crazy. Okay, I'll show you guys the Carvana. This is a Carvana setup and how the algorithm kind of sped things up. So this is what the pattern looked like originally. And again, it already hit that main target at 14, but because it's speeding things up, look at the way it comes down and retests the $9 range we just did. Kind of comes back up, trades choppy for a little bit, and then from here, a few things can happen, right? Because we already kind of ignored the first retest down here. This is not a pump and dump. Anything could happen again. It could turn into one, but right now it's sustaining itself pretty well. So things can start to rise and continue. The rallies can continue here, guys. I'm going to talk about 2 different short-term setups I have, and then I'll talk about the Carvana comparison. Because right now the comparison between AMC and Carvana is basically the same. This thing went up 450%. And Carvana, man. Carvana. Took a lot longer. Carvana. From the bottom. Okay, well, this is not the first. That's not the first pump here. We're looking at this section here. Right? Okay, 457% on Carvana before it came down and then retested. In this case, if we were tracking something similar on AMC, it would come down and retest for probably 5 or 450. before making its way back up again, which is not a... You guys got to remember, even though the markets right now are not behaving the same way that we're used to, like, but even back in 2021, like, it would go up 100%, it would kind of trade, you know, sideways for a little bit, and then on that final break, we had the 1,000% run, and this is just doing it, like, with no breaks whatsoever. So markets are different, it's fine, but there's still consolidation involved with markets. I mean, that's just normal, it's inevitable. So what I think is going to happen is we're probably going to trade sideways here and potentially break 14 before making a come down or something like this, like choppy. Because you guys have to remember, right? This is now the second day, but we have a massive gap. There's a lot of volume coming in. You know, these guys are going to do their best to try and sell premiums, these high premiums contracts, as expensive as they can be. And right now they are very, very, very expensive. So, you know, anybody who's getting those, the likelihood, right, of it kind of either theta crushing, or even volatility crush here of the price just kind of maintains itself sideways here on both calls and puts. I keep saying this, but like, guys, with puts are not a good option in general when volatility is high like this, because they also pump the premiums on puts and stuff. It's just my opinion, not financial advice. So really in this kind of space, in this kind of game right now, we'll see what the price is going to do, man, but I'm pretty sure that this is kind of on the table here. It's just a price trading sideways. If it breaks above 14, I will say that is kind of like a trigger price. That's a major resistance level, and then there's a massive gap until you get up to the, you know, past 20 into the $30 range. So this is exciting stuff for sure, but high risk at the current levels. Make sure you guys are liking the stream. You walk in here, we're gonna be doing this throughout the day here. It's kind of back and forth and then I'm gonna be looking at the entire market, guys, because right now the opportunities in the market are, there's a lot of opportunities in the market. Better time, man, than the meme. When the memes are back. Yes, Matt, good point. Macro turnaround is basically in. Yet what we've been saying here is that this move was definitely overdue. It happened. I personally do not care what happens in the short term. What I care about is the macro trajectory on AMC, and this kind of confirms it for me. This is just such a strong push to the upside, guys. They're not letting anybody get in on this. So this is the type of move that you see before markets rally hard on the macro. So this is a good move. I don't see why we'll see the 250 range again anytime soon, if not ever. This is this is a big move, man. And then from here, again, whatever happens, right? We bring Carvana back here. Carvana did this already. Right? First level around 14, and then the price consolidates, right? But because the algorithm seems to be speeding things up, this can happen a lot quicker. The cycle here is, from the looks of it, could potentially be changing here, right? This move that we just saw is almost 400%, so this is not, for me, at least in the way that we see the cycle, this is not a micro move anymore. This would probably be considered a macro move. Which means the timing in the cycle will probably change, and there might be a reset in the cycle here. So I still track the 62-day cycle in terms of when POIs start. So if this is where the POI zone is now, then I think it's going to work the same way, right? Tracking the 62-day cycle, going into the next cycle, things should be tracking around the same. So I'll get into that more in a video, in like one video. But for now, I think this is probably what's going to happen here. Let me track. We're in 20 days. 62. Be July, and then September. Let's see what GME is doing. Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. So there's a few things that can kind of happen here with, man, these halts are just crazy. Probably come back down here, test liquidity, get a little quick grab, and then start making its way back up. It's good. I think it's gonna be a kind of a slow day, guys. Here, you got to consider the halts are going to be crazy today because of how much we've gotten up, man. 100%. We'll probably come up and retest resistance one more time. This is going to be very important here. If it breaks, you can see a continuation, but otherwise, expect some kind of wedge, macro wedge, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here is where we get the, where it gets the chance again to break out, fourth test. Something like this is probably what I'm thinking for the day, for GME. I mean, for AMC, it's kind of the same thing, but would be hoping for this break a little bit sooner. Gonna be making like a 4. Let's take a look at Pepe, man, because I think Pepe right now is probably one of the cryptocurrencies that is being used for liquidity. Also, considering how quickly Pepe made its way up right here after being suppressed for so long, it was one of the later meme cryptocurrencies that kind of rallied. Everything else had kind of gone up in October and December of last year, and then Pepe kind of just went a little bit later. Yeah. Actually, right here, guys, look at this. So I do like this one for tracking a POI. Yesterday we tracked, guys, volatility zones, short-term ones using patterns. We tracked Bitcoin yesterday, and it played out to a T on the flip. So right at 12, going into 1, we had the flip. So we're going to do that today too. Here's a version of the pattern. So that's the 1, 2. Yeah, it's got 3. And then on that 4th one, it breaks. 1, 2, 3. There's got to be a better one. This is another one. So a few questions about like options and stuff that I've been seeing around. Just kind of want to go over with calls and both puts actually right now, because it's just so early in the week. Everything is pumped in the IV, right? But specifically, I know a lot of people like to trade like the short-term contracts, and even those are just like through the roof. Really, theta will likely be a factor here until about either late Wednesday or Thursday, and that's when contracts will really start to go down. If the price remains between 14 and 9, just like right in between that range. Because right now, like I even if AMC came down into like the $6 or something range, I don't think we're gonna get there. But even if it did do that, I still think contracts would be extremely expensive. No, we are not in a POI, and this is what I was saying earlier, that it's likely that with what just happened here, back in, was it this cycle over here in October 2023, had the same kind of speculation in that the algorithm was likely going to be tracking about a month behind, which is the same thing that's happening now, actually. We had the last POI in April, and this one right now is taking place in May. So with that, because this was not a short-term pump, like we didn't just go up to 6 and then come down, we went straight to that first target, first macro target at 1250 and then close to 14. So it's likely that this is a POI that is taking place, a macro POI that's taking place now, and will likely be established as the start of the next cycle. So from here, that's probably what is happening now. And I've seen a lot of stocks do this in the past before, but usually it does take some time, because if this is the macro changing like trajectory, right, and it's pretty much saying that distribution is over, then there's a new cycle coming in place. Yeah, man, for sure. The Clover Health is pumping. We have a lot of other stocks pumping as well. So the whole market right now is really doing its thing, man. There's a lot of plays that I think are gonna start pumping soon as well. We've been tracking Sava. We're tracking Paramount. All these guys that are they're slightly suppressed right now. Sava is up a little bit. Gonna probably start making its way up very soon, and then as well as Paramount. There's a few patterns that I'm tracking on Paramount as well that have their own little POIs. With this one here, I think the algorithm is still working on this section in the middle. Hasn't quite gotten up here. But Paramount's making its way back up. This is the only stock, I'll tell you right now, where you go back, even there was a slight opportunity, because there was GME, NVAX, AMC that were pumping, but then you saw the rest of the market, BB was still kind of flat, and then all of a sudden it starts pumping like crazy. This is another stock that went up around the same time as GME and AMC back in 2021. Look at this. It goes up from from 35 to 100, right, in a matter of 2 months. This one is being suppressed right now, and I think it's going to start pumping very soon. It's up 2% right now, and looks to be in a little projector. So, yeah, this is another one that is not high in IV. Again, still kind of just hiding under the shadows here with everything else. So it's one of the plays I'm tracking for upside. Okay, we also got plug is up, right, 35%. Well, let's take a look at all in one. What are we doing here? Trying to spot these breakouts, man. Okay, so AMC ahead of the game, GME right below it. Look at these. They're tracking 1-to-1, man. Both pretty much. I mean, yeah, it's like a little puzzle, man. Puzzle match right here. 1-to-1, and then we got SPSC that was going to be pumping, and then Beyond Meat. So both of these we talked about yesterday. They were kind of making their way up. You can clearly see it on the indicator here too. They're hiding with everything else, but they're slowly making their way up, breaking out of the average here. When you break out of the average, usually that's a good sign. So right now, here's some of the other ones that are kind of breaking out of their average here. AAOI, Mara, and then, yeah, Clover. Even Lucid, man. Lucid is making its way up too. Blackberry. Do I have a playlist? No, I'll make one. I have a set list of stocks. Set list of songs that I kind of just shuffle on Spotify, but yeah, I can make one, man. Shoot me a text or something on a message on Discord. Red Dragon, what do I think about AMC hitting 27? So yesterday, you know, the targets we talked about, I mean, they are kind of holding here. I'm going to set my short-term targets to that and not much more. I don't with the current market being that it's the algorithm's doing this a lot quicker than we've seen before. I don't see why we can't make our way up there. But I also think that it's this is a pretty strong push, right? So, you know, a little bit of consolidation doesn't hurt. If we did cross 14 and then stayed there for a few days, then I could definitely see us hitting probably higher than the 20 $7 range, honestly. But that needs to happen first. So I'll kind of got, I'll update you guys along the way, but I think right now it's just gonna trade, within a range. But we'll see, right? It starts crossing these major levels, then I think things might change a little bit. Do I think Adam would issue shares? At this point, I think it would be too obvious to do that. I saw that what's his face on Twitter said that. I think it was Matt. He was like, "Yeah, yo, I bet Adam's gonna do something." I mean, it's not. We've seen it happen before. I just think it would be too obvious. Like the price starts to run like this, the guy would just get shit on, man, if he did that. It just wouldn't make sense. Not right now. I mean, if the price came down and then traded sideways for a little bit, maybe, but he's diluted the hell out of this. So I'll tell you what. If say we had another reverse split or something, first of all, that would be just absolutely dumb at these levels. I mean, we're clearly above the required price range for that. I mean, the guy had a reverse split when we weren't even near the dollar range, so I don't even know. Like, that just made no sense to me, first of all. Secondly, at these levels, that would not be the case. If anything, he would issue shares, maybe. But even that, again, it would be too obvious. It is just too obvious at these levels. So I don't think so. I think he's done enough damage. Enough is enough, man. You think there's a higher chance he would? Yeah, and they did drop. They did drop the. They did announce. I mean. That they did finish the offering already, the first one. So usually after that, I mean, you can't just send out another offering. That's just, I mean, anything can happen, guys, but like, come on, that would just be ridiculous. Okay. And that would be obvious again. The guy would probably go to court for that or something. Or maybe not, because you guys know how this shit works. They don't. I mean, I agree with you, Red Dragon. AMC is very undervalued right now. If you were to look at financials, I mean, because we just haven't had... we have seen these levels when taking a look at market cap, right? This is just an entirely different chart because it's extremely diluted with the reverse split. The opportunity the shorts got to short it after that. Down here, and then the whole ape thing, that kind of ruined the way the chart looked, right? So we have seen these levels in terms of market cap, but even then, right now we're sitting at 2.6. I think some of the other stocks, what is it? I don't know why I thought this was the BGs, man. Yeah, some of them are trading higher too. Realistically, I think we could see within a year's time the $100 range, and that's like, guys, take a look at Carvana, right? We're looking at Carvana here, same kind of deal. It did it in a year. It went from $3 to 100. So anything is possible here in these markets, and you know, considering AMC has a lot more, you know, a lot more retail behind it, it's not something that where these guys can just keep suppressing it. I mean, that's something you know, these guys pump the stock, they short the stock, they pump the stock, they short the stock, and if this is gonna change, finally change on the macro, like we start climbing up, you're gonna trade on a trajectory. It's just gonna be doing this back and forth for a while. I mean, take a look at what happened here in January for 120 days before we had another squeeze. So something like that. Not here, right? Probably a little bit less of a target in the short term, but making our way back up, it's just going to be a series of kind of like pump and dumps, right? On the way up, hitting this trajectory line on the way. And guys, so this is the thing. Remember that this chart right now that you're looking at is the diluted chart. If AMC went up to $100, it would have the highest market cap ever. That's why it's almost like AMC goes all the way back up to its original high. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing that's kind of confusing about this. Am I looking at market cap? Okay, so here's the market cap chart. Okay, it goes from was the low. 700 million was the low. So it crosses. We're gonna have to do the math here because okay, so we're trading at 9. Market cap is 2.7. 2.79. So this did go. If it did go up to 100, I mean, if it went up to 100, it's only 1,000% about, which is 10x from where the current market cap is at 2.6, so about would be about 20 something. So yeah, if it did go up to 100, we would be trading at about like a 20, maybe 25, 27, right? Is it 27? Yeah, look at that. So the all-time high on AMC was 31. So 100 checks out. It's like if it went back to its all-time high. I don't know what would happen after that, guys, but you know, market cap is a good way to kind of see these hidden resistance and support ranges in the market. Kind of crazy to think about, but yeah, that's what reverse splits do, man, and dilution. That's what it does. I wish they just did things a little bit differently. I wish, man, reverse splits were not a thing, but for some reason they are. I think it's just it's an options loophole is what it is, because they get to reset the option chain, they get to do all that BS, and it's just not right. The option loophole, man. The options loophole. OCGN, BNGO, Beyond Meat. He's down here. Oh, we reset here. Okay. Can hardly hear me. Are you sure? Hello? Yo, yo, yo. I think we're going to trade in a parallel channel, guys, for the day. Just kind of starting to see things unfolding here. Parallel channel. Okay. It's slightly descending, but pretty much just trading back and forth between support and resistance. I think this checks out. You make yourself a... you know, something like that. Maybe like a little... making its way back up. Here, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself because we can definitely break this to the upside. But it's either going to be something like this or... I mean, hopefully it doesn't break down. But I really do like that it's at least holding this range here at 870. Because usually, I mean, guys, we would have seen a dump by now, I think. Like a crazy dump. And it didn't, so. Still up 80%, which is huge. Yeah, I was tracking another pattern yesterday too. Where is it? This one right here. And look at how accurate this one is. I think this was something on GME's old chart that I was tracking. But this one, bro. I mean, look at that. Again, calling for that the same range, $8 before kind of turning around. But on that first push, you definitely see it go higher. 13, 9, and then all the way back up to 14. Hey man, and you know, congrats guys. If you guys are making money, that's all that matters, man. At the end of the day, you guys, this is really, really awesome stuff that's happening here this week. So congrats, pat yourself on the back. It's that time, baby. You guys are doing it. Okay, so let's take a look at changes here, guys. Just to put it in perspective a little bit, ROC, rate of change, this is measuring in a 50 bar length, so 50 days, I'm on the daily chart, how much the price has risen. So it does reset every 50 days. That's why we can kind of see everything here clearly. So the last time we saw a pump like this, okay, was... like in a single, pretty much we're talking in a single week, was January and May. All right, we haven't seen anything. This is why this is a pretty macro POI that will likely reset the way the cycle functions now. It's about a month behind. And, yeah, we haven't, you know, I can narrow this down a little bit more. If we did just 5 days, this thing would be way on top, right? 5 days is looking a lot like June. I mean, we're at the same levels right now that we saw back in June. Right there. Look at that. It's almost the same. 2 days. Yeah, this was so quick, dude. And guys, this doesn't need to stop here just because we have the same range, right? This could go on over to what happened in January, right? January, it went all the way up to 600. But again, tracking the levels that we are, this is resistance, so just consider that. Just want to lay everything out on the table. You know, we've done this plenty of times before. Kind of see this whole thing happening. Challenge me to a game of Warzone for sure, man. Jump on it. We got to get back on that. You know what? Speaking of Warzone, man, I miss my boy Rico. We used to play Warzone all the time, dude. I have to play with him again. See what my boy's up to. I mean, yeah, I think he was just like, you know, a lot of the kind of AMC influencers and stuff, and nothing wrong with, you know, they got their things to do, and completely respect this shift. You know, it's a lot of the influencers in the space, yeah, had reasonable you know, things and happening. You know, I'm not gonna judge anybody on that. I completely respect it. But yeah, I think I definitely would like to get a hold of him again, for sure, at some point. See what my boy's up to. I know he'd come on the streams here and just kind of chat it up. I saw a tweet too this morning too. Trey. He's like ripped as hell too. He is ripped, man. But yeah, he's like, I'm not coming back. Like, okay though, all good, man, all good. Do your thing. This is, guys, this is a algorithm, right? There's no one that, like, this is why, you know, and I don't like to get too much into the whole speculation thing about what happened with the catalyst here. It seems, again, a little bit too obvious that they would just tweet about it, right? Kitty would just tweet about it, and then both of these just start pumping like crazy. I mean, you gotta think about all that stuff. So this is why I'm saying, like, it doesn't really matter if somebody kind of decides to you know, stop covering some of these things. Like, the algorithm's gonna do what the algorithm's gonna do, man, with or without me, or with or without them. So it's just the way it works, man. It's just the way the market works. But hey, here we are, kind of unfolding this this theory, right? This theory. And I completely respect that, man. He doesn't want to be in the public. Told us on Discord multiple times, just focusing on his health. 100% respect. I'm sure Rico's on the same path, you know, like I'm sure he's kind of just doing his thing, you know. You gotta respect that at the end of the day. I love doing analysis in the markets and just kind of figuring this whole thing out. I spend a lot of my time working on software code for developing, you know, indicators and stuff. So I love that, man. That is what kind of motivates me here to, especially with the findings here of like what AMC and GME have brought to the table, right? In terms of the cycle, pretty cool stuff. We are getting a little pump here. These are okay, he just posted. What did my guy post here? This guy is just bro, he's like the Elon Musk of like meme stocks. Except Elon Musk is like, he does it for fucking Doge. It almost like this guy has more power, dude. Or like more influence. Because Elon Musk has tweeted back in the day too about AMC and like GME, or like hinted at it. Not necessarily directly, but like hinted at it. And I mean, we didn't get this, you know, we didn't get AMC going up 400%. So this is, yeah, this guy has some influence for sure. All right, so guys, it looks like this is going to be the next retest here at resistance, potentially going up to 12 again and maybe trading sideways up in this range. I think it's looking pretty good for that right now. Would love to see something like this, and then we'll see, and then we'll go from here, right? We'll take a look at volume and stuff. Let's see what else. Halting on an uptrend. True. Just another reason to support the macro thesis, right? That we are changing trajectory. Because this is a thing, man. Like, I'm excited about this because for so long, this entire chart right here, I don't even know if this is going to work properly. That didn't do anything. Okay, so this entire chart right here, up to this point, is pretty much distribution. Like, this entire thing. And now that we're breaking out of distribution, like if this advancing is a lot quicker. Like that's just the way the markets work, man. Because retail again doesn't. The majority of retail will not short a stock, and with the option markets, there's a lot that goes into it that you have to consider. Like it's not the same thing as shorting, right? The way you can keep positions, you have expiration dates. Certain strikes aren't available. Then you get the whole reverse split thing where they change the option chain. So a lot of that doesn't necessarily, benefit the retail trader when it comes to shorting. That's why I'm saying like majority of traders will not short. So the pumps are always going to be the quickest. So this next pump is probably going to last about a year, I think. Maybe May or June or something, 2025. I'd say something like that. And then I'm just drawing a line here. I'm not projecting any or predicting any targets or anything like that, but pretty much just kind of showing you guys how this works. But if it did go up to 100 like Carvana did in a year, then this is going to be a advancing stage. So very small accumulation stage on AMC, going straight into advancing. It's going to be fun, man. If this holds, which is looking good to do so, even if it comes down in the short term to 5, I still believe that we would see some kind of trajectory like this. Do see that happening. Right, if we went up to 100, guys, it's like you're making the left or the right shoulder on this right here. Right, from here, I don't know. Right, I don't know what's going to happen from here. But even if it did something like that, bro, like, that's the right shoulder. Go on the monthly chart. Or the yearly, right? The yearly chart. How would we do this? Weekly. All right, GME kind of making its way back up. I wanted to pull up this indicator to show you guys what we can see in a month's time. Scale A. All right, hold up. I'm very OCD about all this. So this is the monthly chart. I love this indicator because we're able to kind of see what's going on inside the monthly. And it's just a good way to kind of, see what can happen inside, right? Inside that candle, that closing candle. So by the end of the month, I would be probably projecting to remain somewhere around either the current range, or if they want to close it. I mean, this is going to have a massive wick on it if it comes down to 6, which, I don't know, man. After how quickly this happened, even the Carvana setup is looking like it wouldn't play out in time. Like in the short term, right? Calling for the $6 range. I don't know, man. It's hard to call that right now. I would have to give it probably a few days to see what happens next, because what if there's another gap up like tomorrow? Like, I've seen stocks do that back to back where there's like 2 or 3 gap ups Okay. That's pretty much what the candle looks like right now. See resistance. We haven't touched resistance though on the monthly candle. So you got to think about this too. Is this going to do it right away? Is it going to come and touch resistance right away? Or is it going to take some time before it does that? And this is where, like, we talk about this macro trajectory here. We could take a few months to fully reach the macro targets, like, you know, at 100 and stuff, if it goes up there. First, we got to cross this. This is going to be very important to cross before anything. 14. Is this occurring outside the model's volatility zone? It is. It is. And what I said earlier, I'm going to make a video about this. So before, what was it? October 2023, I already had speculation that the algorithm was going to start tracking about a month behind, which is currently what's happening right now. Or a month ahead, I'm sorry. It's currently what's happening right now. I've seen this happen before with many stocks, especially when they're exiting a macro phase. So this is a very important macro phase because we are exiting distribution is what it looks like. When you exit distribution, or it's macro distribution, but this looks to be more of a spring setup, which I'll get to in a little bit. This is accumulation right here. It's a form of accumulation if we're going to fully cross too. And then this is kind of your spring, right? So if we're doing that, if we're fully exiting here, then that's the change in trajectory, right? Instead of going down now, we're going up. And again, it's not confirmed yet. We could also be entering accumulation, and that would suck, right? We would be just trading sideways. But I think based on the market conditions, I've seen many stocks just kind of spring when exiting distribution. One of those is Paramount. Here's an example of a stock that exited distribution and squeezed, right? The same thing. AMC is slightly, it's a bigger version of that. Think of, from July 2019 until March 2020, think of this just being sped up on the Paramount algorithm. So this is entire distribution here with a spring. And it happens very quickly, extremely quickly. That's probably what looks best for AMC, I think. Because it was pretty much accumulating on the way down here. It's a form of accumulation. It just... Look at how quickly it starts to go, gap up from there. Just kind of shows that the rate of change is quick. It's fast. We haven't seen this happen, guys, since June of 2021. At the entire chart. I'm gonna change this to 100. Kind of figured we were gonna have our first blue spot here too, since this is another thing to track, guys, is the first blue spot since August, which was a fake out after descending for some time. Really, the last time we had a clean breakout here was January 2021. And then from there, well, we kept going. Yeah, no, the monthly hasn't crossed. Probably won't. Monthly will likely act as some kind of resistance, though, the curve. What's this in purple? Wish? Is Wish pumping right now? Oh, low volume. Yeah, we're still in a parallel. We clear a parallel channel. Potential fake out on this short retest down here, guys, at 925. It looks like it's probably going to break that and come to 850 first. I could see that being the case. Breaks this, comes down to 860. If it comes and retests it, typically on the third, you start to see some fake outs. Otherwise, it would have to start climbing up here. All right, it starts to go up here or goes down here. What's Spy doing? This is why I think we are gonna reach 14, guys, and it's pretty clear to me that this phase right here, we call it the November AMC phase. It's one of the patterns I actually use for the cryptocurrency you're looking at below. It's called meme, but pretty much what happens is, so it retests in some form of way, because a lot of these play out a little bit differently. Like AMC's goes like all the way up here. So that's one retest, and then it comes down here, too, and then it falls down. Also retests 3 times on support. So 3 times on support, and then you break one more time. And here is typically where the volatility event lies, which means anything could happen here in the short term. But that's what it's looking like right now. So I'm saying 1, 2, 3, even though it's descending, 1, 2, 3. It looks like we're doing a sped up version of this. Yeah, it definitely looks like that right here, guys. So this. And then break it. Like going up to maybe... Dude, it would be crazy if it just starts going up into the... Like, if it fully crossed 14, I think we would see the 20s, like, in the short term. But it would have to be a full cross, guys. When I say full cross, it's not just retesting it and falling down. It's full cross, man. 14, 15, and then just start. Because, like, think about it. They don't have... I think the furthest contract right now is... Like, what isn't like... For the short term, because they just added contracts, but it's 12.5. So they might take advantage of that. All right, guys, indicator here, all in one. We're tracking the rate of change of the entire market here. We got 120 stocks. And right now, Beyond Meat is ahead of the game. And right below it, we got GME. AMC took a small of a breather. Again, you're going to see these kind of jump in between the market average. So they're going to be coming up and down because there's just so much volatility. Down here, we got Plug, AMC making its way back up. And then there's a few stocks that are kind of looking to break out here a little bit. We got Save, Spirit Airlines, OCGN. Lucid was kind of making its way back up. VXRT and BlackBerry. Upstart. Well, actually, this one kind of looks more like it. These wicks, man. Right here. So, you can kind of check off this section here. I wish we could, like, cut these bar patterns. It would make things a lot easier to chop them up. So this is already checked off. Probably this entire section is as well, right here. And then this is what we're looking at right now. This section right here. So I think, guys, we're looking to go up here. I mean, this is a short-term POI, macro point of interest, which means that this is where the algorithm either flips or we have a positive POI. So I'm going to take that section here and kind of speed it up a little bit because that's what it seems like it's doing. Seems like it's doing that. $14. Yeah, we did this yesterday too. We had a little box. This was our POI box, so I'm gonna do the same thing here. Just kind of come back to it, but this seems to be the POI zone for the next move. Leave that there. Come back and check it out. Oh, yeah, and you know what's crazy too, man? Yesterday I talked about the probably the only stock that was likely going to be down, and it was Baba, man. Baba. We had the projection here at about negative 10%, between 7 and 10%, and so far it's playing out. The reason I say this, guys, is the correlation that where we tracked in the cycle. A lot of these stocks that are pumping right now have a correlation with May of 2020 right here. And the last earnings that Baba had was May of 2020. You can see right here, even though it's going up, right, it's like exiting a reaccumulation. We could see like a small reaccumulation before advancing. It goes down 10%. And right now, it's the only stock really in my 300 stock list that is pretty much down. It's down 7%. So that this just kind of confirms that a lot of the stocks that are pumping in that small section just kind of gives it a higher probability chance of kind of seeing some of these other stocks pumping from there. I'm tracking right now Sava, expecting Sava to do something in the short term. Is this NVAX? Yeah, NVAX kind of making its way back up again. Look at that. Sava's right here. Sava right here in green. Sava. Oh yeah, Sava's up 10%. Volume's coming in like crazy on Sava. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Speak of the devil, man. What the heck? Look at that. Sava making its way up. And Sava went up a lot, man, in that range too, so... What's this? LAZR, another one. So what we do, man, we're tracking these breakouts right now in the market. Duolingo. Yeah, but I think Sava, guys, is... one of the stocks, man, on the big break here. 8% to... And I'm just, you know, I'm covering some of these stocks, guys, that don't have the IV2 in the short term, because when meme stocks start pumping, man, pretty much the entire market starts pumping too. And the opportunity really lies with the stocks that don't have crazy IV right now. I think, again, this is really good for AMC and GME in the long term, but IV is through the roof. A lot pumps, man. A lot pumps next after these. right, so AMC broke that third retest line here. You can see. We'll kind of see if it's a fake out, guys. If it's a fake out, we might see it come down to 850 first and then start making its way back up to retest resistance. That's what it's looks like it's going to do. Sava, there goes Sava. Making a way up. We got here. We can kind of see both here. I'll put AMC on top, and then put everything else here on the bottom. See if we can see everything. So again, we got the markets, the entire market's down here, and then AMC is right on top, right? We can see AMC here on this most recent dip goes from 960 to 910. It's displayed down here. It's a pretty massive drop. It's because it has more volatility on it. Let's see what Lucid's doing. Reddit? Is Reddit making a comeback? Here's the low projection I had. I'm going to be moving it just slightly over here. Once it comes down here to 850, I think that's going to be that retest, guys. I think from here it will seems like it would start to turn around from there. Track between inside the parallel channel. Yeah, another thing, guys, to track, you know, yesterday it hit negative 16 before making a turnaround, which we're getting very close to it. So I treat this indicator the same way. I treat it as support and resistance. I mean, it almost works better. I think it works better, actually. This is a line here. So it could come down to that, maybe another 4% before making a comeback. Assuming it got halted. Is this still halted, man? Yeah, I got halted. Okay, it should be coming back now, though. All right, there it is. Unhalted. Virgin Galactic making another comeback.
Since I let you go, I don't need no help. Mirror crystal clear, finally know myself. So I make my way home, I'm in it alone, but I got everything I need.
Yeah, so from here, if this bounce sustains itself, definitely would be seeing that $12 range again. What's up, man? Oh, you know what? What was it? Forgetting, man. Some of these other cryptocurrencies, man, we gotta track. This one is like perfect, I feel like. We gotta give the music the break a little bit. YouTube's tweaking out. Yeah. Well, okay. So this would be a pretty crazy move. Again, there's different variations of the way this pattern typically plays out on every stock. Here's another variation. We got the AMC variation. I mean, this pattern here is classic. It's AMC classic. At least the first level range at 14 to 15 seems to be on par with pretty much all of them. And that is if this is a positive point of interest here in the short term. Otherwise, it would be an inverse one. And then you're kind of starting to look more for some of the other stocks. I'm going to pull up the Carvana chart on Thinkorswim real quick. We'll kind of put that up here and compare the two. Because I think it's pretty relevant right now, at least as we're seeing the price here kind of unfold from this move. I did look at it yesterday, and I'm starting to see some similarities, so I do want to touch base on those real quick. I can kind of pull it up here. The thing is, TradingView will limit how far the chart goes back. If I do maybe 5, I don't know if it's going to do it. Oh, it did it. Okay. That's all we need, I think. Yeah, so just to put it in perspective, guys, this is the 5-minute chart on AMC. And this is the 5-minute chart on Carvana. You can already see how much quicker AMC has made its way up into the 450% range about from the lows. We're talking the low, which is about 250. Yeah, about 440%. Carvana, 450% right here. You can just see how much quicker AMC did it. So this is how this is gonna work, guys. If the price, and I'm not saying this can't happen, but if we do not close above the previous high today, or at least if we don't retest it again, then a short-term distribution phase is probably more likely. I've seen also stocks. It could be the case, right? I mean, they don't have to track exactly the same, but it could also be the case that we're somewhere else in the sequence, and this could just be a breather day, right? If it's a breather day, we could be somewhere like right here, like right here. Okay, and this is another one. It's just another variation of the same pattern. Now this would just be an insane move, but it also is tracking pretty much the same POI as the other two. Yeah, so this would be the other case, is that we're tracking, somewhere else in the sequence. I don't know. A move like this right now in the short term to 30 would, back to back 100%, 100%, and then like another, this would be like a 200% move. So I don't know about that, but still to track it. We'll leave it there. Cool. All right, guys. This is what we're gonna do. We'll be posting a video later today on AMC, kind of covering the whole macro thesis now that things have changed. Going to do a little bit more analysis on that. You might see me here back live later in the day. Going to take a little break here, do some things. You got to take your breaks, man. And then we'll go back from there. But, dude, let me tell you something. Stock is looking great. And the macro is what matters at the end of the day. I think this is a really good push to start things off here for the year. AMC's late, but to start things off, things are looking great. Awesome. All right, guys. See you soon. Thank you for joining in. Subscribe, like the video. You already know.